Hey everybody, welcome to Jim and Eddie Talk Shit. I'm Jim Jeffries. We're just about to start the episode, but before we do...
Just wanted to tell you, we've got sponsors now.
AdamandEve.com!
AdamandEve.com. It's the best place to go to get anything you need for sex stuff. Jim's an expert on this.
I have indulged in sex toys over the years, not as much as our good friend here, Lilith.
Lilith, you like your sex toys?
I love them.
And you like AdamandEve.com, right?
Yes.
AdamandEve.com, what they're doing for our listeners. You guys can help us out. Go to AdamandEve.com for a limited time only. You get 50% off just about any item. When you select your one item at 50% off, you'll also receive 3 free DVDs. 3 porns. Yeah. Plus,
I'm glad that you stipulated they were porn.
Yeah.
Really how-tos or anything.
Yeah. Well, we were just going to send the National Lampoon Holiday Collection.
Plus a free extra gift, and to top it all off, we're even going to throw in free shipping for your entire order. So you get
50% off. Just put the word Jason into the little box at the top.
Yeah. And the offer code, you put in Jason at checkout. That's JASON.
Not spelled RETARD as we spell it.
No, just put in Jason, and you're going to do that, and then you'll get 3 free DVDs, a free extra gift, and free shipping. So just use the offer code JASON at AdamandEve.com.
2 douchebags on a couch. One's an asshole, one's a grouch. And relentless, all their mouths. Jim and Eddie. Talk shit. Jim and Eddie.
Hey everybody, welcome to Talking Shit with Jim Jeffries and Eddie Ift. I am Eddie Ift. We are here at the Rape Cottage. Jim is with me on the couch. Say hi.
Hello.
Jim. We've got Machete, our engineer. We've got Lilith here, our we don't know what she is, and Jason.
Hi.
Jason.
And we have a wonderful guest, Mr. Marc Maron, probably one of the top podcasts in the world.
I'm glad we got him in a good mood day.
I'll fucking relax. Yeah, dude, I'm very I've been, not all of us are on this fucking European schedule where you work a month and take a year off. No one knows who he is in the States. He goes to fucking Europe for 2 months and makes a year's worth of money and sits here and goes to the beach and has the right to judge my disposition. You cunt. Am I a legend yet? Because I've been getting that as a stand-up, which just means he's not dead yet. A legend.
I believe you're a legend when you stop using a photograph of yourself and you go for cartoon. Your face is so recognizable, you've gone for a cartoon. We're not at that stage. If we put a cartoon of us, no one would fucking know. They'd go, who's the pale guy with the rat?
And I've often wondered about that, why you put the picture on the WTF thing, the cartoon instead.
I don't know, but I it was some sort of weird stroke of genius. That guy, I had a dude who was a fan who did a painting of me that I had laying around, this guy Nathan Smith in Seattle. And I said, can you make a logo out of this? And he said, yes. And he created that weird turquoise blue logo. That was just impulse. It was not any I wasn't some branding genius who sat and labored anything.
It does pop though, because everyone else is just a photo, and that blue you can see.
I know, it's amazing. I really think that initially it got us a lot of people listening. It was just some sort of impulsive stroke of wizardry by this kid in Seattle. He lives here now.
You also had a big following coming from not just your comedy, but the what were you doing? Fresh Air? Or what was the
what was that? What's your name again?
Oh, fuck off,
Eddie. I remember you when you started, right? You were like some sort of fucking puppy that used to come around real comedy clubs, going, "When's my turn?" And then all of a sudden you went to Europe and supposedly have a career there. Anyways, it was
Australia. He doesn't have a career in Europe.
I'm sorry. I was just in Australia with him. They weren't saying that great of things. But
geez, you come to my house and you just start off being a cunt. Thanks, Marc.
Who's the one who didn't do his research and claimed I was on Fresh Air? Like,
what was the thing you were on? The
Fresh Air is a show hosted by Terry Gross, an interview show. I was on Air America for
Air
a couple
America,
years.
same thing. Air was in there. I got Air right.
But to answer your question, I don't think I pulled a lot of people over from that. I think that I was doing primarily partisan political talk with very much a comedy show, but it was political. And I think once I disassociated myself from political partisan talk, I think there was probably a couple thousand people that were on board and into me. I don't know how many I held on to, but certainly they loved that show I did on Air America. And I think there was a few, but it's nothing. I wouldn't call it the thing that pushed the thing over the top.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Am I being defensive?
No.
Do you want me to be funny? I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I don't want you. I just got off a plane. I ran over here.
I just got off a plane as well. I just flew in from New York.
He was probably on your phone.
I have some exciting news for everyone though that I've been waiting to share for a few days. I think I told you already.
Are you pregnant?
No, more exciting than that.
He doesn't have AIDS.
During the Chicago Comedy Festival in June, I'll be throwing the first pitch at Wrigley Field.
Really?
Which is exciting, but the worst thing is I've never physically thrown a baseball.
And I will say,
In my entire life.
I have played softball with him, and I figured Jim being, as
It's not going to be enough.
crass
It's not
and
going to be
cap-
enough that I'm going to walk out in that field and no one knows who the fuck I am. But I'm also going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
You would,
I can help you
you
with
would
that.
think he's an athlete. You would think he's an athlete. Looking at him, he's
do you feel-
atrocious.
In what way would you think he's an athlete?
I look
He's
like
got an
Babe Ruth. I have a
attitude
Babe
and
Ruth
he-
physique.
Oh, is that
about
what it
me.
is?
Yeah. That's
so you're
exactly
good for one shot? Well, you got your shot. You got one pitch.
I look like a bowler.
but he will throw a baseball like a girl. It's going to be
Well,
hilarious.
you got time.
I
You know,
got time.
Get Eddie out there.
I got my Ernie Banks signed baseball. I'm going to chuck that around somewhere.
Get Eddie out there with a mitt and work it out.
He won't help me. I'll get Jason.
Yeah,
to
I'll help you.
Now,
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Jason,
All right.
meet Mark, Jason.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, good to meet you.
Jason's just a guy that slept on our couch for many, many months, and he was never intended to be on the podcast. But we
He's a
let him in.
stray? Are you saying he's a stray?
He's worse than
Pretty
he's
much.
worse than
Sorry,
a stray.
I'm getting up. I got to find my nicotine lozenges if we're going to get anything that's.
Do you want a cigarette? That probably works better.
No, you know what? If I was doing the cigarettes, I don't even have them. Yeah, no, I haven't had a cigarette in like 10 years, and
You're still on lozenges 10 years later.
I'm on the lozenges to get off the gum, and then some days I throw a patch on if I'm really feeling adventurous.
What's after these? What are you working down to?
I'm not working down to anything. I like nicotine. I just don't want to suck hot smoke into my lungs anymore.
Well,
So
you've seen
Yeah,
those,
fair
the
enough.
e-cigarettes. Have you tried those yet?
I don't like the way those taste or smell or look. How can you not look like a fucking dipshit with a toy in your mouth? You're walking around with this toy
I don't know.
that lights
I don't
up.
know. There was some slut that I shoved a toy down her mouth. She looked great.
Really?
I made
Did she
that
have
up.
an electronic cigarette in her mouth when you shoved your toy into her mouth?
Jason just looked more hurt than I did when Mark just did that.
What? Did what?
You don't know. He's very.
He likes the electronic cigarettes?
He's a.
No, I haven't tried them yet. I want to though.
I found that I
You
tried.
don't smoke.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he does.
When do you smoke
No, he
cigarettes?
does.
I started
smoke.
smoking at about a year ago. I started smoking.
God, you need
That's
more
crazy.
problems.
How'd you mean you got this far in life without picking up that stupid,
Look,
filthy habit?
he also got this far in life without being a pot smoker until he was 30.
Well, that I can understand, but cigarettes are a fucking waste.
He also doesn't have a bed.
Huh?
You know what I mean? This isn't his
also-
biggest concern. Cancer might be a blessing in his life.
He also
like things haven't been going well for him.
He also tried cocaine for the first time about
Yeah,
3
but I
months
can
ago.
understand that. What I don't understand is getting through the tunnel of high school without putting a cigarette in your mouth and then choosing to later in life makes no sense.
Oh, no, I mean,
Cocaine,
Nothing in his life makes
Like,
sense.
I mean, in the 6th grade, we smoked for a little bit, like off and on. Like, it's always been
but like
around.
it's such a compulsive, addictive nothing. It's nothing. It's like there's no. All you're doing with nicotine is getting well. At least with pot and blow. You get a little buzz. You can
Right.
get yourself in trouble. You can apologize to a woman for 9 hours. I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had on cocaine.
Apologize.
Just
to
let
a
me
woman.
hold your head. I did a lot of blow.
It's the mechanism, though, too. It's just kind of like,
No, I know, I
feels
get it,
good.
but you were
Yeah.
out of the fucking woods, dude. You made it.
Speaking of blow, I was out with Brian McCarthy last night, and
Brian's a regular guest on our show that nobody knows. He's less known than me.
yeah, Brian's got like a legion of like fucking
Legions?
legions.
Not a
A
joke.
lot of guys that follow him around that look a lot like Brian.
Oh, they dress
and I
like,
told
they dress like
him-
the Brooks Brothers catalog.
I told him now, oh yeah, they're just all wearing like bow ties and shit. There's like a big Indian guy. He's like, hey, you're mildly famous. Can you introduce me to girls? I go, I'm not even that mildly famous that I can sell a fat Indian guy, but I'll give it a go. And when we told him, because this is a good way to segue into this, that we're now advertised by Adam and Eve Sex Toys. And so I went to check the site out and everything like that. But Brian McCarthy knew every single sex toy that was on the thing. And he told me which items you could put in the dishwasher was the most appropriate way to clean them.
I don't know if that guy's a very adventurous guy or a very insecure guy.
I'd say a little bit of both, and he's also
both.
he's also a guy that you wouldn't suspect, but he's a porn director on the side.
On the
It's like
side, what does that even mean? He does it when he can get women into his apartment
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
on
No,
camera?
he
It's
has
it's
this,
a
like,
guy with a
weird-
flip camera.
No, he came out to LA wanting to be a comedian and pitched a TV show about a women's prison. Like he wrote it up. It would be like a Howard Stern.
So now he does it at his house?
And some guy said to him, "I'll give you the funding for that, but it's got to be like porn."
Uh-huh.
And he went, No. And the guy goes, well, I'll give you like $2,000 a month or $2,000 a week or whatever to shoot. And he went, okay, I'll do it. And then it just one thing led to another. And now he does these like masturbation videos. And he's like, it's just a little side thing.
What do you mean masturbation videos? That's all porn. You mean like he has
films women masturbating? It's very soft.
Soft. A girl just sits and masturbates and he films it.
Just sitting there masturbating in his house.
But does he pay the women?
Yep.
So he pays women to jerk off on camera?
Yep. Yeah. And then they sell the videos.
That is such lighthearted. That's like Disney porn. This guy's got no game at all. He's paying women to masturbate. And he doesn't.
Disney porn. That's not anti-Semitic.
I am so upset right now watching the news when they keep talking about Osama bin Laden and the porn they found.
Yeah.
I am dying to
I didn't hear about this.
What he watches. You know, if you go on
Who cares?
YouPorn,
The thing that kills me is that just makes me have something in common with him. They've humanized him. The entire they're sitting there trying to spin it like, and now he's going to look like he's not really the myth that he was in the Muslim world. And I'm sitting here going, oh fuck, he's just a dude. God damn it.
that's
that
what
happen?
I want to know if he's into what I'm into. Like if I find out like he does
terrorism?
no, like the Bukkake films or like the black guys fuck. Isn't that your new one? You
Wait, you just said you like Bukkake films and black guys.
I like a bit of the cuckolding at the moment. I like watching a man's wife being fucked by a lot of black people. I don't.
Do you
know
watch
why.
anything?
I've never had a wife or a black person. I've had neither, but
you like the staging. You like the play.
I like the staging. I like the fact that it's a real woman, and the guy's all dodgy with the camera.
Yeah,
and she's not into it, but he's making her do it.
Right,
I love all that.
Oh, so it's not the one where the dude's sitting on the couch with the dude fucking his wife?
No, that's no. Well, that's a different one. And we also like backroom castings. Which
the one where the guy,
where the girls think they're getting a job and the guy just
and he talks to him for like 10 minutes. Then they blow him, and then always they're like, "Have you ever had anal?" And then they're having anal, and then he comes on their face.
They're a little bit runaway about him.
I've never seen it, but I think I know what you're talking about.
It's a new version of the Bang Bus. Do you remember the Bang Bus?
No, I thought that you were talking about the casting couch guy.
No, the
casting couch is a new version of the Bang Bus.
No, but the Bang Bus was on stage. The casting couch, I actually am starting to believe it's real.
No, I don't believe it either.
I'm starting to believe it's real.
I don't believe it. The Bang Bus
I've never seen any of these girls in any other porns. If you read the comments when there's some girl who's like acting like a home, there's always some dickhead who will write, "I know it's such and such, and here's other clips of her." Those casting ones, you can never trace another footage of those
I used to
girls.
watch the Bang Bus. I loved the Bang Bus. They would drive around, and they would just drive around the city, and they'd pull up to a girl, and they'd say, "Hey, can we get directions somewhere?" And they go, and the next thing they go, "Hey, you want to get in?
Right.
We'll give you $50 to show us your boobs, $100 to show you."
Right.
And the next thing you know, the girl's fucking them.
Sure. But how many of them had Russian accents? I mean, that's always the giveaway.
Well, one time I'm watching it, and they pick up a dude, and I'm like, "This is just gonna go all wrong."
Yeah.
And you saw the guy, and the guy just looked.
You ever found yourself watching gay porn ironically and then just like sitting there for too long?
No.
Yeah, thinking like, how did I end up here?
Well,
Come all over my stomach. Yes. Attell had the one where he goes, I watched so much porn that I started watching gay porn, and I just pretend like it's two guys that showed up really early.
That's good.
Speaking of the Obama thing and porn, I'm trying to link them all
the
together.
Osama thing?
The Osama thing. That's right, yeah.
I keep mixing
There's
them
a
up.
web page at the moment called What's Osama Watching? You know that picture of him with the little TV?
Yeah.
You can watch any clip on the internet through that little TV.
Oh, really? I don't know. I haven't seen that.
It's such a simple idea, but it's so entertaining.
There's a thing on YouPorn where you go to it recommends for you pornography.
No, I know that.
They can tell like through your cache what you've been watching, and then they recommend similar porn.
Right.
And I would love if they just set up a little tab that like what Osama's been watching.
Would you really? Is that you think that'd be an angle for YouPorn? Is like Osama's pics?
Yeah. I don't know why that would turn me on that I'm jerking off to the same stuff he is.
Yeah.
I'm a Hillary Clinton guy.
I can't detach from the fact that it makes him sympathetic somehow. You know what I mean? That
I'm starting to mourn his death.
Huh?
It's gotten to that stage. I've gotten so fond of him in the news that I'm like, couldn't you leave him alone? Shooting in his face. I don't even want to see the picture anymore.
The dude was washed
Keep
up.
the picture.
He was washed up.
I know.
When you see that picture of him in front of that little TV, What was he plotting? What was his next big scheme? He had a 13-inch black and white that he used
The
to
weird
watch.
thing about him, he was he's a Western-educated trust fund kid
Yeah.
who was lost and then decided to turn to to learn how to fight. And he went to Afghanistan, became this horrendous person who designed 9/11. But then after all is said and done, he's just a has-been. He's just a figurehead, and now he's just alone. He's like Elvis. He's sitting there taking herbal Viagra, jerking off to porn, eating peanut butter and bacon sandwiches. He's lucky he didn't die in a toilet.
He was like an angry rich kid, though. If you look at what happened with him, his family, when I went to the Middle East, everything you see is Bin Laden construction.
They did it all.
And he was, what was he? He was like the 54th son or 20. No, they say he was
No, he was
17th
17th
or
of 52.
24th.
Of 52.
They're not
sons.
sure if he was 17th
52
or
children.
24th. But
That's a hard place to be in the middle.
Yeah.
But the fact that
Middle child
they don't-
syndrome.
Very difficult.
And
Like, at
you
least
don't
you'd have
even know which
company in
one.
that family, though. You'd
Imagine
have-
the hand-me-downs. Holy shit! They must have an entire warehouse just for the fucking outfit.
Yeah, but it's good they all wear the one outfit. It's just like when you get your brother's school outfit. You know, it's like, this one again. Oh, yeah.
This tunic or whatever it is.
Dish dash or something they call it. I don't know.
The pajamas they wear.
Yeah, I think that's what they're called.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
Arabic word.
Yeah,
for
say
jobs.
that when you're over there.
They're Jimmy Jams.
Yeah.
We wore them when we were over there. Mickey D and I thought we were funny.
Why?
I don't know. We thought it was funny.
Even I find that offensive
Yeah, yeah.
to go into another culture. I find that offensive to go. It's like when you see like a white woman in Asia who wears one of those like dresses that do up at the neck made out of silk with like a stitched on dragon, and you see her walking around with chopsticks in her hair, and you go, "Oh, you fuckhead."
Well, that's what we were, and we're wearing them. We asked afterwards. We're like, did we do anything wrong? Is this against your religion? They're like, no, it's a cultural thing. And I said, did we look? But did they notice us? And they go, yeah, because you weren't wearing them right.
It's
You
like-
had them
it's
on
like-
like too big, like too small. It'd be like a guy wearing a suit that just doesn't.
It's like
fit
going
him
to
well. You
Harlem
go,
and wearing
"You
a
look like
starter hat
douchebag."
and not taking the sticker off.
Yes, that's a very good analogy.
Why do they keep the sticker on? Like, I'm all for
Why don't
different
you ask
cultures.
them, Jim? I dare you to go up and ask one of them.
I do from the stage. I would never do it off stage. If there's a guy in the audience with a hat with a sticker on, I go, what the fuck? They never have an answer. It's just like, it's all good.
I think it's just established at some point that we're not taking the sticker off.
I don't know, but I don't want to know people's head size. Is that impressive if you've got a big head size?
Well, they all wear them too big. Did I just say they all? But the ones that
The young kids, yes.
they
the youth do that.
they wear them over their ears.
Over their
usually.
ears.
I know, that's another thing, because I'm an ear out guy, and now the people who peep their ears inside
Okay, I think
hat-
we've established that you're white, Jim. I don't think I don't think anyone's arguing.
It's a younger generation thing to do the ear in, young, older, ear out. I've seen
Well, you
it
see
happen.
white guys with the ear in
Yeah.
now, but that's when you start feeling old, when you start having this conversation with
When you start-
how do they wear things like that? They look ridiculous. It's like my dad looking at sport and just teasing tattoos all day. That's all he does now. He used to watch sport, now he just goes, look at that man's arms.
Yeah. Doesn't he know they're just going to be green when he's 70? It's just like green patches.
Oh yeah, they do dilute like that over there.
Oh yeah, they just turn to shit. Nobody with these fucking tattoos, he just doesn't even think that they're just gonna be scaring their grandchildren's friends. At
Yeah, they never pop.
Jason's never gonna have grandchildren though. We've already taken
Yeah,
care
you
of
know,
it.
Jason's
you'd
too
be
old.
surprised.
He's,
I've been
30, he's
gelded.
39 now. He's had sex with 3 women. I think the
we don't
world's
have to
safe.
worry
Wait a minute, he
about
just started doing blow and pot. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. everything can turn around for this guy. He might have kids in a year.
He's making some good life decisions.
It's always good when you
as we
start
go.
doing blow and pot to knock somebody up. Then you can really get that kid an education and be a present parent.
You can let your kids sleep on your bale of hay.
He doesn't have a bed.
Yeah, well, no, that's right. Then you have the sitcom called Daddy Gets the Couch Tonight. Hey, you know what? Someone's going to pitch that. Someone write that down and copyright it for me. I want to register that at the Guild right now.
That I was just thinking about that the
What?
other day. That Writers Guild registering shit is a giant scam. Because when you register, you have to pay.
Next, you're going to say after is not useful.
Yeah, because it's not. You
I
put
I
in,
get health insurance. After it does all right by me.
No, the health insurance,
I had the health
but
insurance and
the
I got
actual
off of it.
unionization of it for stand-up comics, I don't really.
No, well, comics are always fucked, but I mean, like, it's weird that as I get older, the only thing I'm hoping for is that I make enough money in something. One of them, because I'm in writers, I'm in SAG, I'm in AFTRA. I just want to make some check somewhere that'll get me coverage. So that's all I'm really concerned about in terms of.
I just
dues
all I
or
see are
whatever.
bills that just come. And
Are they really that big? I mean, how much television do you do? What are you hanging on to a dream here?
No, but what does happen is, say you have a really good year.
Yeah.
The next year
When
they
was
charge.
that
They
for
charge
you? I'm just trying to. Maybe I missed some in your career. Did I miss it? What? What?
Geez, this coming from a guy that had one line in Almost Famous. That should be the name of your book.
I still get I get checks from that.
Almost Famous, that movie.
yeah, he had a line in it.
I like that movie.
Lock the gates.
He's the promoter, yeah.
I
He just made money. Do we have to pay you for that right now?
No. I already got my $3 check. No, I understand. I understand what you're saying. You've had a very wonderful
say
career.
you have a good year.
Yeah.
They charge you the next year
a little more
on that year,
Right.
unless you tell them you made less.
But I've only done a little bit of TV, and I used to keep on getting charged because I did it a little bit. It's almost like, and then I had to change the spelling of my name because of AFTRA. I used to be Jim Jeffries without the extra E.
I remember when you were that guy. You were funnier then.
Now
What
I'm just
happened?
too
What's the name?
long-winded. The extra E in there. It looks awkward. I have to explain to people why I've changed it.
I guess you're. I mean, I don't really. All I know is that if the dudes don't seem to fuck with me that much, and if all of a sudden you get coverage, it's good. It's all about the health coverage as far as I can tell.
I got rid of the health coverage.
Yeah,
'cause
so did I.
I went with a different company because they pissed me off. I just want the company where I go in with a card and just go, doctor card. After it kept on going, we need to see confirmation that you don't have other health insurance. I'm like, why would I have it twice?
Yeah.
It was just so much mail and postage. And
Holy shit! Wait, I don't even understand this. You had to mail one letter.
I hate going to the post office.
Mark, you don't know who you're
If
talking
you
to.
don't even understand how much I hate going to the post office. It's
Jason-
like I would rather
do you know
throw
that-
my stuff away than sell it on eBay because the effort that would be involved in packaging it up and sending it to somebody.
But we have mailboxes here. Are you not familiar?
No.
They don't have those in
I
Australia.
actually like going to the post office.
They have the
I go-
Kangaroo Express that takes all their mail.
I was just in Australia. I was very surprised.
Did you like the
how-
women?
How sophisticated it is?
Well, I mean, Melbourne, I thought was great. It was great.
Did
Great
you like the
audiences.
women? I find them leathery.
Well, I
Rough
didn't.
hands.
I didn't really go out into the wilderness of the Australian women, but from what I could tell, they looked. Some of them looked a bit hard. Is that what
Yeah, they like sport. They pride themselves that they can drink as much as
And they
you.
can swear really well.
they all look like aging tennis pros.
And they all go up at the end.
Yeah.
And what are you up to, Mark? It was great seeing the show.
Yeah.
I've lost that over the years.
Yeah. Have you?
And they're
A little bit,
they're
a little bit.
very
Still,
nice until you piss them off, and then the fucking hell, fucking cunt.
Yeah.
They will all say cunt.
I had a good time there. I really, 2 weeks was enough, but I had a good time there.
What city did you really like?
I was just in Melbourne, and I've been in Sydney for 2 weeks, and I thought that was pretty nice too.
I
but
think Sydney's a smash. Well, I grew up in Sydney. I really like Sydney.
Melbourne was great though. The food was good.
I ran into you one night. That was it.
That's
we were
right.
There for 2
And then
weeks
you did that thing you always do. You made it uncomfortable very quickly, and that was the end of it. I mean,
Like two guys who showed up on a porn set too early.
but I'm not taken.
I just picture Eddie bent over right now with you going, who has the bigger podcast?
I get benefits from mine.
No, you don't.
Jason's starting a podcast union.
Really? Finally, someone to ruin it before the corporates do.
Jason, when's the last time you got benefits?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably 4 years ago. Yeah.
What about all your free T-shirts?
Yeah, that's the only benefit right now that's coming. Yeah.
That's good. That'll stop the blood.
If you wear enough of them, like a tourniquet.
Direct pressure.
Sure, man.
Do you see? Okay, you see the lovely Elite there?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He once made out with Elite. That's the highlight.
Was that a
of his life.
dare? Who did he have blow? What was
We've asked all these questions. Elite doesn't quite have an answer. She says
happens.
She says something like charity. There's
And
some.
last week in the chair,
She
you're
was
in,
having a weird moment of low self-esteem.
and she's a therapist, Mark. You would enjoy this. She's a professional therapist, and she sits here with us. And last week gave Jason a lap dance.
She works in drug rehab. That was used to be a big thing. She worked in drug rehab for many years. And what did she do for Jason's birthday? Made him pot fucking Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
Well, she knows that if somebody's still active, there's nothing you can really
Well,
do.
you know, yeah, and she's and she
They have to hit rock bottom
and
before
she
she can help.
exactly. She shields herself by saying, "We'll drug the kid up, and then he'll eventually end up in rehab."
Yeah, help
where he
him out.
belongs or something like that.
Facilitate his bottom. That's called marriage.
But you
Just wanna
can't
get him there quicker.
You can't OD on pot though.
Yeah, but the
No,
thing
you
is,
can though. You'll become retarded. It's very here's what happens. Here's what a pot OD looks like. Is that one day you say, I'm going to write this screenplay, and then 40 years later, you're saying the exact same thing.
I do that without pot.
No, I know. That's why you've been exiled to
The thing is with
Australia.
The thing is with Jason, every now and again I go, I think he's hit rock bottom. And then like a week later I go, I didn't think he could go further.
That's one of the greatest jokes of all times was this guy, Dan Vitale. He was a stand-up in New York. He had a shot at SNL, and like everything got away from him. He fucked everything up.
Right.
And he used to do this joke. He used to say, folks, I hit bottom. But I got to be honest with you. When you hit bottom, when you really hit bottom, you'd be amazed at just how much give that floor has. He's a fucking genius, that guy.
Dan Vitale, I don't even remember him.
He's a friend of Colin Quinn's. I don't want to fuck this story up, but he became a cast member on SNL. They hired him, and then he just fucking went on a cocaine booze bender.
And these
Like
are
that night?
These are the same people who employed John Belushi and Chris Farley.
Yeah, imagine
And
that.
then this
Well, he was
guy-
one of those guys, and then for years he was struggling to get his stand-up act back, and he had a really great presence. He used to his opening line used to be like, I don't think we're gonna get along. And he'd say that to the audience right away. And he was just a deep dude. I think he's all right. I think he's actually in drug rehab. He's a drug counselor now, I believe.
good.
Yeah.
I saw
Wait,
you.
I thought he was dead the way we were talking about him.
No.
Mark, I saw you do one night at Luna Lounge. You told the story about your experience on Saturday Night Live. Didn't you have a meeting with Lauren?
Oh
Michaels?
yeah, sure, yeah. That's a fairly famous story. I think he just brought me up there to teach me a lesson, to be honest with you. Because we were doing Luna Lounge, which was this big scene down below 14th Street, the Lower East Side. It was the first sort of alternative comedy thing in New York, and it got written up in the New York Times. It took me years to put all this shit together. All right, and then all of a sudden, Marcy Klein, Lauren's, dick. Went scouting around, saw me, said maybe Lauren should see you. And then they had me do the comic strip, and he came out and saw me. Then they had me do a screen test at 30 Rock.
Was this for you to do Weekend Update?
I think so, but in retrospect, who knows? So I go through all these hoops, and I get the meeting, and I remember I'm sitting there waiting, and I was smoking pot, so I was high. I was waiting for Lauren Michaels to call me, and I was reading a book by Bruce Wagner called Force Majeure, which is a book about Hollywood. So I was having a hard time differentiating between the fiction in the book and what I was going through. And he brings me in after a couple hours, and I walk in. I just read, I wrote this out once. I hadn't looked at it in a long time, but it reminded me of what was going on. So I walk in, the head writer's there, Steve Higgins, and Lauren's doing something on the bookshelf, and he turns around, he looks at me, and I think the first thing he says, I don't know what you think you're doing down there below 14th Street, but it doesn't matter. And, so this is how it starts. And I'm sitting there in front of a desk, and on the desk there's some pictures, and then right in front of me there's a bowl of Jolly Rancher candies. And it just gets real weird real quick. He starts with this weird zoo analogy. He says, comedians are like monkeys. You go to the zoo, you like the lion because it's scary, the bear is intense, but the monkeys make people laugh, So, of course, I say, yeah, as long as they're not throwing shit at you, and that didn't go over. He looked over at that. Fucking just thudded, And then,
I think that would have been a funny line. I would have laughed if I was.
Yeah. I thought I was doing okay, right? And then I keep looking at these candies, and then I start thinking like maybe this is a test of some kind, And then he does this thing where he just looks at me. He starts looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he's not saying nothing. And it gets uncomfortable, and the writer doesn't know what's going on, and I'm just looking at Lauren, and I don't know what to do. And he says, "You can tell a lot by looking in someone's eyes." So now I'm trying to exude star quality. And then I got uncomfortable, and then like I took a candy, and in my mind, I swear to God, as soon as I took that candy, he shot a look at the writer, and I felt like, fuck, I blew it. I failed the candy test. I don't even like Jolly Ranchers, but I got nervous, and I ate one, and that was it.
I thought, I would have taken the candy as well. I thought that would have been a test that, like, he's assertive. He knows what he wants, and he takes it.
Who the hell knows? I think. Then I heard later that they were just using me to pressure Norm to re-up because Norm was balking on his contract. Who the hell knows?
That's the only time I get a screen test is when they're trying to negotiate with someone else.
Always.
It's the only time. It's always like
I had that with Win Ben Stein's Money, where they flew me all the way out here to test for it.
Yeah.
Just using me to tell Comedy Central how bad I was.
Yeah.
Like to go, oh, this is why we're hiring Jimmy's cousin.
Yeah.
They hired Sal, Jimmy's cousin, to take over, but they wanted to put him up against a bunch of comics. So like, well, we tried Eddie Ift. He was better than him. So they flew me all the way out here. I was all excited coming from New York.
That's the same reason I take Jason to bars with me. Just so stand next to girls going, could be him.
I have to tell this. So we run through this a couple times before when I run into Marc. But when I was starting at the Comedy Cellar, when I was in New York, this is probably like 12 years ago, maybe even longer, 13, 14 years ago. Marc was like the guy at the comedy club. It was like you and Todd Barry and Louie and Dave Attell. You were like all the guys doing the Comedy Cellar, and I just got in, and it's really, how hard it is to get in the Comedy
horrendous.
Cellar. Yeah, it's very
horrendous.
It's the hardest.
I don't even go in there anymore.
I'm not in.
No, she's so hard. She did not pass me till she saw my HBO special, and even now, like when I'm in New York, all I want to do is have some place to sit for the night and do a bunch of spots. I'll go in. I haven't been there in months, and she'll be like, "I gave you one spot at 1 o'clock on Saturday." Fuck it. I don't even put in anymore. It's fucking disrespectful.
I don't like jumping through hoops. So I'm not gonna.
She does these spots. The show goes from 8 o'clock till 2 in the morning. So there's probably 20 comedians on the show. You put your avails in early in the week, and then you call back to hear them. And she calls you and says, she used to call me, and she'd be like, you could have like 7 spots all week. And she used to come and she'd be like, Eddie, can you do for me Sunday at 1:40 a.m. and nope, that's it.
But with me, after a point, it's like disrespectful. I mean, what do I need it for? I mean, I can go to Brooklyn, I can do an hour at Union Hall, or I can do even with after you cross a certain point. It's like I'm not going to come to New York and only put in at her club to get 1 or 2 spots over the fucking weekend.
The audiences are great. It's a great club. I do love working there, but
I haven't walked in.
It's all right.
It's a hard room.
Here's the story though. Back in the day,
it's a great room.
Back in the day, I probably got in a a little too early, and I was
who
young.
the hell can judge that?
And so
I think any gigs you've got now are a bit too early, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and we're all waiting for you to come into your own.
Thanks, Marc. Thanks for being patient.
I've had phone calls from Australia saying you came over a bit early.
Did they really call you?
No, my mum just saw you on TV and said, "You live with this guy? You're too good for that." And I go, and he has the big room. No.
So here's the story. So Marc, everyone's partying upstairs because there's a restaurant upstairs. The comedy club's down below. Somehow, Marc, this is back when you used to drink and use drugs a little bit, and you said to me, "Come downstairs." And the downstairs was where the bathroom was. So after the shows, it was like empty, dark, and you had to walk through this like dark room to get to the bathroom.
I don't even know if I know this story. I thought I knew this.
So we're walking he takes me downstairs.
Does it involve you two in a bathroom?
No, yeah, close. Marc pulls me downstairs and goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know things are going well for you. You got in here, you're starting to do some stuff, you're getting known over town, you're getting some success, people like you might be successful, things might work out for you, but I just want you to know one thing. I'm not on board." And then he walked away.
You've never forgotten that.
Awesome.
And you've never gotten on board.
I'm a man of principle.
And then another time, no, this one's better.
How long has this haunted you, Eddie? How long have you held
I
this?
love this one. I was opening for you at Princeton Catch a Rising Star. Remember that club?
No, I don't. I remember the club. I don't remember ever being there with you.
That was the Matt Graham cunt episode.
Oh, right. That was great.
So
yeah.
Marc and I were working together, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was driving me back and forth to New York.
She told me she wasn't on board either.
And so I'm like this little open micer that's doing that's opening for him, and we get in the car to drive back to New York, and Marc goes like this. We're getting in the car. He goes, I've got this girlfriend. She was a pretty cute girl at the time, and Marc goes, I need to sit in the front. I get car sick.
Yeah.
So Marc sits in the front
Yeah.
with my girlfriend and proceeds to hit on her the whole way back to New York, just while I sit in the back. And he's like, shut up, open micer.
And did he get her?
I think so.
What was her name?
Lisa.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Lisa.
We talked about you during it.
And that was the Matt Graham cunt episode, which was, I'm afraid to talk about him. He scares me so much.
Yeah, when he made her come, he made her yell out, Eddie who?
She did it without me saying anything.
It's funny, girls do that with me.
Yeah, Matt Graham was quite a character.
I just looked him up the other day to find out what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he was a
Scrabble champion for a while.
He was never champion. He was number 2 in the world.
Well, yeah, now that's semantics right there. Like that's like saying
Well, let's get
Federer's
things
not the
straight.
best tennis player because Nadal's doing well. No, that's a good Scrabble player.
He was the number 2 Scrabble player, and he was an amazing joke
He'd
writer.
use all of his letters at once on several occasions.
He wrote for Colin on SNL. He wrote for Conan for a while. He wrote.
I
for some other
started with
shit.
him. He was in Boston when I started. He had some great jokes.
Yeah, he does have great jokes.
Oh, what was that? What was that one? Roommates. I woke up this morning. There was hair on the sink, hair in the tub, hair on the floor, and I said, "Hey, Bob, you're hanging on to a dream with this chemotherapy."
My favorite was the one he said. He said there's a thing called stigmata where people get so religious they believe that they have the wounds of Christ on their hands. And he goes, and I thought I had that until I found out that Heineken's weren't twist-offs. But he was this amazing joke writer and Scrabble player.
There's the greatest moment. I used to live in this house with this guy, Bill Wilson. Used to have this house out in the shitty part of Cambridge, and it was sort of like a comics house. Like everybody sort of ended up there at one point or another.
Kinda
and
like
I was, I was sort of out because I'd broken up with my girlfriend, so I was living there. I would sleep on the couch, or if Dave Cross wasn't home and he was sleeping in his girlfriend, I'd sleep in his room. And Matt Graham was living there, and there was this guy Carl living there. Now Carl was this boozer, and he ended up in a mental hospital, and he was a great guy. But I just remember there was this one moment where Matt Graham was sitting on the couch and they were all doing the crossword puzzle or something. And I just said, Carl had been gone for about a month. So I said, hey, does anyone know when, is Carl ever going to get out? And Matt just says, not unless Chief can lift the sink. And I'll never fucking forget that.
I tell you, they did a version of One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest in the UK. And basically, the entire cast was comedians
Who really were crazy.
No, we're doing just because they did 12 Angry Men. These comics all did 12 Angry Men.
That's interesting.
At the Edinburgh Festival, and it went so well. They said, "Well, let's get another play for you 12 guys to do." And then they did One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest, but they needed someone to play the main character, so they bring in Christian Slater.
I remember that.
Comes over to do it. So everyone
do McMurphy.
Yeah. So now everyone's like mates. Everyone in the comedy like everyone's best friend is Christian Slater. All of a sudden,
yeah.
But they couldn't get a guy to play the Indian out of the comics. So there's one guy called, I forgot his name, but he's an Irish comic, and he's about 6'8", but he's Irish.
Who was it?
I've forgotten his name, Brian or David.
O'Doherty.
O'Doherty or something. Yeah,
something like that, probably.
But he's like 6'8". So there was the tallest comic on the circuit.
Yeah.
And they just blacked him up. and then washed him down a shade until that's about Indian. He's looking a bit coffee there.
Back to
and he was still like, oh, da diddly dee, da dee dee.
Back to Matt Graham. I have a funny story about him. One time he went to meet a girl at a bar. She was a bartender, and he didn't tell me. He said, "Can you meet me at this bar?
Yeah.
I don't have very good social skills, and I want to like kind of hit on this girl. Can you help me out? Blah blah blah." So I go to meet him at the bar down on Bleecker Street in New York, and I sit down and have a beer with him, and I can tell which girl it is, and he's kind of flirting with her a bit. And
I remember when he was going through this, dude.
Yeah, and in the midst of it, while he's hitting on the girl, he leans down to a bag and pulls his Scrabble trophy out of the bag and puts it on the bar in front of her.
Oh my God.
And I just went, I gotta go.
He was very obsessed with it.
I wouldn't leave if that happened. I'd want to see where that went.
Well, Matt was like, he was very, I have a lot of respect for the guy. He's a very funny guy, and he's very committed to this thing. He quit comedy, and then he focused on Scrabble. He becomes #2 in the world. He went back.
Is that an income?
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, can.
He
They
toured
win,
a bit.
They can win some money.
Yeah, but he also, though, this dude, he enrolled, I think, in Fordham, or one of the state universities. As a 40-year-old man, he enrolled in college so he could play college basketball.
And he made the team.
And he
made
fucking made the team.
Yeah, he's incredible. His intensity and like he knows every two-letter.
He made the
three-letter-
college basketball team.
Yeah, I think they benched him. He didn't stay in
he didn't
college.
start.
Are
very
you
long.
sure you just weren't watching Rudy one day?
No,
This is
I know what
slipped in.
happened. I know what happened. They found out he like never finished high school.
Oh.
And he got a GED or something, and there was like
He's a very intense guy.
but so intense. He
Very
knows,
bright guy.
He knows something like 85% of all the words in the dictionary off. Like he can recite them. He takes all these like vitamins and stuff to make his brain.
Vitamins. He had a duffel bag of vitamins. He was taking vitamins every 30 seconds. He was on a timer, dude. That guy was the most obsessive dude I ever met in my life. When I drove him to Catch a Rising Star for that gig, he had this fucking duffel bag, and every 15 minutes he's like, "No, I got to take these magnesiums." And then 10 minutes later, "No, it's time for the cranberry pills."
He
or
would
whatever
drink
the fuck.
GHB, which
Was
is a
he,
date rape drug. He would take it so that he would sleep soundly, so that his brain would grow. And that's the night he used to try to piss off the audience.
Look at you just said that, and Jason just a thing went off in his head like a ting. I can take date rape drinks, and maybe if I feed one to the lead, it'll be helping her brain.
You know what's funny? If you got the date rape drug, nobody would rape you.
I posted an interview with Steve Byrne today, and he tells his side of
Living with me.
No, of the Dane Cook essence stealing.
Oh, really?
For the first time ever, he tells his side of it, and he'd been holding on to it for years.
He was living here when that happened.
Yeah.
Steve was my roommate. And,
What the hell's Moshe Kasher doing here?
We're
He's on
replacing
the next
you.
episode.
We wanted.
What's it? Is it Jew Day?
We wanted. We wanted your younger version.
It's Jew,
Fucking shake these guys.
Jew Day.
Yeah,
This is fucking
Steve lived here when that
upstarts.
happened. And I remember when he went to meet Dane that night to have the talk.
Yeah, no, he told it to, and I'm just wondering I'm waiting for that call from, the message on my phone. Marc, it's Dane Cook.
You know when you're listening to a
listened to it.
podcast, you listen to a podcast. You don't just listen. You put your earphones on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you can when he talks. He called me once. When he wanted to be on the podcast, and I was in San Francisco walking down the street, and I got that Marc. It's Dane Cook. And I'm like, you talk like this all the time? Are you pacing when you're doing this? But I mean, it wasn't directed as a response or anything. Steve wanted to be on the show. We talked about other stuff for like a half an hour, but he decided he wanted to talk about it, and it's pretty intense. That's all.
All right. Well, listen.
Well, that's a good plug
Not a
for your
plug.
show, though.
I'd like to have an hour of power on this one.
Yeah, we should have
What
an
is
hour
that,
power.
man? What
It's
is
a
that?
section out.
Explain what happened.
Hour of power. What happens is I went to quit the podcast because it was just
The band was going to break up.
Yeah, I was going to quit because I had to go to the post office and send something. There was something went on like that.
Sure.
And
Tough
so
life.
and so Jason, because it was getting too stressful to come downstairs. And
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jason said, "Oh well, if we quit the podcast," he goes, "I'll just start up my own podcast."
Mm-hmm.
Because even though we drew in the audience, he said that he was the talent. And each week we
He
endeavored
hasn't
to
said anything.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's very intimidated by
This
you.
is like a minimalist podcast.
He's very intimidated.
So what we do now?
Sometimes he never shuts the fuck up.
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh my
Oh,
god.
sometimes if he's
Jim wanted to
drunk or
punch
he's
him in
on
the face
pot.
last
The other
week.
week I was just like, shut up. Like if he takes too much pot, but he's clean today, which is good. But like, so what we do is,
He was excited about you coming, weren't you?
Yeah.
yeah.
Has it worked out?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a thing called Hour of Power where we see how long you can interview the guests without it all falling to bits. And we just stay out of the show. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for
Hour of Power.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Hour of Power, episode number 30. Are we on number 30 now?
You've done
All right.
4 of these.
Don't
But
cut him off.
we're in episode
It's
number.
his show,
No, it's all
Eddie.
right. It's all right. This is just part of it. Today we're with Marc Maron, and
It's the first time you've
He
done
got
a
his
guest
name.
name.
Yeah. He usually doesn't know their name.
I'm actually. You look like my Uncle Billy. Actually, it's kind of funny. You look just like my Uncle Billy. That's
is
kind
that
of why
your-
I've been kind of quiet.
Oh, is that your opening question?
No,
or-
no, no. Actually, no.
I'm not sure how to respond.
We
you
were
want to
talking
call me
about.
uncle? Do you want to?
Well, actually, we're Facebook listed as uncles and something like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
That
If
wasn't
you want
Mike's
that.
decision.
No.
Do you want to do is this
Actually,
part of a psychological exercise? You want to do a transference thing where I am your Uncle Billy? Is there something you want to say to Uncle Billy? Did Uncle
No.
Billy do something to you?
No.
Okay,
We don't.
good. All right.
No. Actually, I read some stuff about you. I listened to a couple of shows, and the reason I started smoking, like we were talking about this earlier in the show, is I actually picked it up as a habit when my wife and I broke up. And for me, I noticed that you're doing a show about that breakup.
I did a show not long ago called "Scorching the Earth," which was
Right.
fueled by spite of my ex-wife leaving me. And I find that you did the right thing. It's always good when somebody hurts you to hurt yourself more, because then somehow or another you win in some fucked up
Right,
way.
well, I mean,
you can't hurt me. I already fucked myself up. so I understand your logic.
So yeah,
there.
that was kind of like part of why that is. But I've also found I don't know if that was like part of why you're fueled creatively. Like you got a show. I mean, you put work out. From the
Honestly,
result
that
of
show, I had nowhere else to go with that shit. She left me out of fucking nowhere, and I was a brokenhearted, angry mess. And I'm a comedian, and that's where I talk. Early on,
can I step in?
No,
1 second,
early
please?
on,
Mark, out
what?
of nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't know she was gonna. What, did you know something? Did you fucking talk to her?
I know you.
No, but I didn't see it coming. I
felt the
when you're
exactly same
married
way.
to somebody, and you're an asshole, there's some party that thinks that when you apologize and say you're not going to be an asshole anymore, it magically erases all of it.
Yeah.
So what happened was I was in this weird situation where I had all this shit going on, and I knew that the one thing that I knew is that if she's going to leave me, she cannot come back to comedy. So I needed to go on stage and make sure that happened.
Was she a comedian?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So and look, nothing but respect. Am I right? So no, but what I ended up doing was I'd get an hour booked at UCB, and I'd have all this fucking anger and all this weirdness, and I would just get up on stage with all this raw shit and start plowing through it until it started to become a show. And they actually said, when I did a workshop of it in New York, I retired the show fairly quickly once I felt better.
So 5 years on that show.
And once it got enough press for me to know that she knew it was out there. And I was reading this letter I wrote. It was fucking heinous, some of it. But when I workshopped in New York, the guy from Time Out New York in his review said, the great thing about this show is Maron has no hindsight whatsoever. You really feel like he's working through this stuff as he's doing it. I'm like, I fucking am. So it's hard to recapture. But some of the material that came out of that show I still use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I felt that same thing, and as far
How's your
as
show coming along?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, no, I mean, it really did. It just gives you a change of direction.
This is the best Darren Power he's ever done, and you still slam him.
He's done research.
The thing is, I saw him walk up to the house today with a notebook under his arm, and I said, "What's with a notebook?" He goes, "No reason." I go, "Have you prepared something?" No, I haven't prepared.
He's doing a
anything."
good job. Bring
He
it
is.
down.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had the same thing. I play guitar and I write music as well.
Oh, yeah.
Is sleep on their couch.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hang on.
that's how I ended up on this couch.
Jason can
actually, was
sometimes mistake
my
hobbies
wife-
for
about a-
jobs.
Well, you're
let him
close.
go.
You've got proximity to the beach. You can throw your case out there. Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, maybe that's the next step.
No, he doesn't
No.
like
Maybe
that.
it's a movement towards the water. No, you're not. That would be the failure.
No, he's going to open for Fuel.
No, like maybe this is like he's here on the couch writing the songs. Then when he makes it to the boardwalk and he's playing the songs for money, then the next step is he just takes his clothes off and enters the ocean.
With a rock.
Mark, I don't want to brag on his behalf, but he's a professional recording artist that's already made. How much money have you made?
I think the sales are up to $54 now.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, on that album.
Yeah,
or
that's
on
awesome.
That single. Yeah.
Well, so
It was
yeah, I
great.
play guitar too. I don't write songs, but so that's good. You
I got
feel-
an explosion actually, after it was about 6 months after we broke up.
Which is weird because you
Just-
can't come
an
anywhere.
explosion of creativity.
Yeah, musically.
Yeah.
And but it was fueled by anger and pain.
Do you play these songs publicly, or is it just something you do?
Well, the theme song.
Oh,
to
Yeah,
the
the
show.
theme song to the show is written
came out,
by
yeah.
That's
Jason
great.
Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you, man. Yeah,
And-
hopefully you'll feel better someday.
No, actually, about a year, like my birthday to birthday, kind of like
Yeah, feel
Like,
better.
there's a list-
How long were you with her?
12 years.
Holy fuck!
On his birthday,
Someone stayed with you 12 years?
Yeah.
You must have some sort of fucking spell to throw. Go throw it again.
he's got mongoloid strength. You can't leave him.
Mongoloid strength. What era are you living in?
The 80s.
She was his wife was a lesbian who only let him have sex with her when there was another girl there, and then she left him for a guy.
Well, I don't know if she left me for a guy, but she's with a guy.
I went out with my first serious girlfriend was a lesbian, and there's that weird, because I'm so self-involved. There's that moment when you get dumped for a woman where you think like, either she was that way all along, or I literally turned her off to an entire gender, and there's some pride in that.
I was once walking down the street with a girl who I'd started seeing, and this guy on the street yelled out, "Oi, bull dyke," with the hot chick. And she was just so happy to get the compliment.
Yeah.
That I said, "Don't you think you should be offended on my behalf?" Yeah. She goes, "Oh, you wear a plaid shirt everywhere you go.
And you have tits.
Yeah."
But all right, so we good? Where you at?
Yeah, they were good. I mean, we're segued
you
out.
have any
You just
follow-up?
let Mark take over your show.
I wanted to know about that. Well, actually,
Hey,
my
we've
next
never
question
seen
is,
you-
what do you think about marriage in general? Like, do you think it is an antiquated institution?
that
or
all
is it still
about?
valid? Would you consider being remarried ever again? Or
Look, the reason I married the second wife, I left the first wife for the second one. The reason I married the first one because I didn't know how to break up with her, and that's not a good reason to marry somebody, right? So and then I left her for this second one, and then the reason I married that one was so I wouldn't lose her. I think that then neither one of those worked out. But do I still believe marriage is good? I don't. The fucked up thing is, dude, if you can't trust people, nothing's going to stop that from fucking everything up. So just the fact that you marry somebody, it doesn't mean it's going to guarantee fucking anything.
Right.
So I'll do it again.
But your parents were happily married, weren't they, Jason? Well, they stayed together.
my mom was married 3 times.
Really?
Before you did.
Well, no, the guy. This is her third husband. The guy that's my dad now.
Did all 3 guys have a midget fetish?
I would imagine.
So who were the first 2 guys?
The first guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Hang on,
Mom's a
we-
dwarf?
we're
The first
hearing-
guy I don't know about.
No.
Yeah, she's officially a dwarf.
Well, she's 4'11".
But I mean, is she like?
That's like no, she's not. She's normal.
She's normal. You said she's a lesbian.
no,
That's a theory because she played softball professionally.
Your
and
mom?
she's a really good bowler. And,
Your mom?
Yeah, and
She's a 4'11".
She- actually,
excellent
she's awesome
bowler
at golf,
and
too.
softball player.
So you dated your mother?
no,
basically.
not at all.
No. I just mean that it's interesting that.
Oh yeah, my
Because
wife
you-
was an athlete. She was like a all-American.
This is your
volleyball-
wife?
My ex-wife.
His ex-wife
was an
a-
athlete.
That was a
as well.
wife that left you, the lesbian?
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Oh,
ex-wife.
shit.
12
She
years.
was a, she
So you're
was
all
a-
fucked up, dude. You're fucking. You're shit.
39, sleeping on hay.
You're-
Wife,
you're-
she's moved on.
you're
Everything's
right.
moved on. You know the only thing.
I'm sorry,
You know
buddy.
the only thing he has.
You'll be all right. You'll be all
Is
right.
us.
Yeah.
Is Jim and Eddie. That's all he's got.
You guys, keep having a good time when you find him hanging from the fucking shower rod.
Why does everybody say that shit?
Because you're gonna kill yourself.
No, I'm not. That's what the first, like when I was living here, Jim said to me one day, he's like, every time I go on the road and come back, I expect to find you dead.
And he said one time that scared me. He told my girlfriend, he said, Frankenstein killed his creator.
Wow. You guys got something really unhealthy going on here.
We just hope he kills himself before he kills
I
us.
want to see you
Yeah,
do one
Dolph.
thing before we end the show. I've never seen you wrap up an hour of power. We've always taken over. How would you close it out, Jason?
How would I close it out?
Yeah.
My guest has been Marc Maron.
My guest has been Marc Maron. Thank you
Thanks
for
for coming.
listening.
And thanks
to
for
the
coming,
Hour of
Marc.
Power. Now back to Eddie and Jim.
That's your first full one you've ever done.
Did you have a
I'm
lot?
proud to be part of this.
Did you have a
moment.
lot more questions?
Yeah, you hit a lot of them. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know about Lorne Michaels. You hit that. The only thing.
You really researched,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah, but the thing though, the thing I want to talk about, because Jim and I, and I'm sure feels the same way. The 12th episode, May 12th episode you did was for George Carlin.
Oh yeah.
And my grandparents, my parents, myself, everybody in my family revered that guy. I grew up
Yeah.
in New England. I know it's his favorite comic.
Yeah.
And you know, I really liked that episode.
Yeah,
That was really cool.
The Sally Wade episode.
Yeah.
It came together just coincidentally that we were able to do it on his birthday, and I didn't really know what to expect. But the interesting thing about it is, she wrote this cute book, and it does show a side of George that none of us ever knew. But this was the woman he was with when he was being criticized the most for having gotten misanthropic and cranky and was not as good a comic as he was because he was too angry, is that he was in love for the first time, it seems, in his life, in his grown-up life. And so he had this whole world with her, and it got very emotional, and I was very happy about it. She was a little nervous initially because she came in planning to sort of have a regular kind of push the book interview, and I was very into engaging with her on that level. And after we did it, she was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with where that went. And I said, it was beautiful.
It was a great episode.
It was beautiful. And I had to take that part and have it played for her so she would be okay with it, because she felt like it was very revealing. But I thought it really honored the guy. I felt good about it. That's all.
I think you're talking about your episodes. I didn't want. I mean, we're going to go a little long on this because I have to.
Well, you got to
bring
cut
up
that
the
part
subject.
out that you fucked up.
Yeah.
We'll keep fucking it up. But most importantly, I do listen to your show, but I didn't hear the Gallagher episode, and I know he walked off your show.
Yeah.
Something happened. I have a very strange history with Gallagher myself.
Sure. I don't know how any history could be any different with that guy.
I was at a party one night. This involves Brian
This
McCarthy.
is Liam Gallagher, right?
But no.
Yeah.
Gallagher, the watermelon smasher. I'm at a party one night, and I'm talking to a girl at Brian McCarthy, who's a guest on our show often. And the girl said to me, "You're a comedian." She goes, "My dad was a comedian." And I went, "Oh, really? What's his name?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, his name was Gallagher." And I went, "Your dad is the Gallagher?" And she went, "Yeah." And I went, "What's he doing these days?" This was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. She goes,
smashing things around the house.
She goes, "He's living with me because his 5th wife or something kicked him out."
That's how she lost a twin sister.
Oh God.
And she lived down the street. I go, "Well, can you get him up here?" I go, "Invite him over." So she invites Gallagher over to the party, and I had 10,000 questions to ask him, and immediately he detested me.
Sure. You don't know anything. You don't know anything about comedy. How old are you? Do you talk about yourself on stage? Do you have an act? Do you have an act?
Is that what he was saying to you?
Does that sound like him?
Yeah, it sounds exactly. Is that what happened? Is that what happened with him?
No, he's just an asshole. Yeah, it's like, I'll tell you about comedy.
Yeah,
it's
he
like,
told me he hated David Letterman because Letterman stole his
He's a
watermelon
bitter
shit.
cunt. And he's like, he literally said to me, like, I was trying to be diplomatic and give him the respect that I don't have for him, and integrate him. Like, but he was there. He was at the Comedy Store. He started with all those dudes. But he's got a story. But he literally said to my face, anybody who talks about themselves on stage is not a comedian.
Why?
If you have a notebook, you're not a comedian. If you drink water on stage, you're not a comedian. If you sit down, you're not a comedian. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. And I didn't say that. I offended him politically. So it was okay.
But he was talking, and he's been a punchline in comedy for years. Everybody goes to, he's the first go-to.
He made a fucking fortune. If he fucked himself up, he's a moron.
But not. Let's talk about when he started.
Sorry,
probably,
all due respect, please.
The first night he smashed watermelons on stage. People were probably like, "This is genius." Like this.
No,
is the most
he tried to
alternative-
frame it as the original idea was a one-bit thing. It was a satire on those infomercials, and that he saw it as a satire.
Oh,
and
so
then,
it was like a thing. This hammer can do this. This
right.
mallet can, okay.
That's right. So and then his complaint was, and all of a sudden he was that guy, and they came. They came for the fight, not the hockey game. That's what he said. And so, but that didn't mean. But he has this problem. He's like, Letterman and Leno get talk shows. I'm out there selling tickets. So he made this, and I said to him, I said, well, look, they chose a different career path. I sell tickets, and I'm like, all right. He goes,
they would
I'm
sell
out there.
tickets as well,
Right? And then he says, I'm playing state fairs. They couldn't play state fairs. So I said, who the fuck would want to play a state fair? And he looks at me, he goes, everyone.
and carnivals.
But whatever, I feel bad for him. 3 weeks after the fucking podcast, he had a heart attack, and then I had nothing to do with me, and he's broke and whatever. But he's a bitter asshole, and didn't go well, and he certainly didn't have to leave. But
He's broke because when I was talking, all he talked about was the stock market and how he's making all this money.
He also says he has a cure for cancer. I mean, what the fuck do you know?
I tell you, watermelon can do a lot. I'm a big fan of watermelon. You smash it just right, that can fucking grow your hair
Did you
back.
meet Sam Simmons in Australia at all? Did you get a chance to meet Sam?
I don't know.
Sam's their like alternative comic, and if you Google Sam Simmons right now and look at him, Google images, look at Sam Simmons.
Yeah.
He looks identical to Gallagher. And I showed him one night, and he does a lot of shit where he smashes food on himself, and he does all this like alternative shit that like there's no,
But isn't that hackneyed performance shit?
Well, no, Sam's a good performer. He is funny, but when I showed him the pictures and I started showing in a group of people, he got really upset.
Yeah. The thing about Gallagher, look, and I just want to say that the argument we had, I didn't have to post that episode. He walked out. I could have just dumped it, and I didn't seek him out. He sought me out by coincidence. His manager did. His manager did. He didn't know what he was getting into. The argument became political for no real reason at all. I was there. I wanted to ask him about the accusations of him, being basically racist and horrible and homophobic, and in terms of.
I'm glad you didn't research me before I came on the show.
Can you please do that to Jim?
No. But
I'm only joking.
No. But the thing is that he wouldn't take responsibility for it. Like just what you just said just then and got the laugh. You take responsibility for it. It just became. I got some flack from righties, and people were like, political correct police. I'm like, I don't care what anybody says. But when I asked him about these jokes, he goes, "They're not even my jokes." Like, and the whole problem with that episode was. He stormed off like a child. It didn't have to happen that way, but because of the honesty of the podcast, I'm like, well, I have to put this up, and that was what happened. And what am I trying to say is that it didn't. I had no plan for that to happen. I didn't seek out to attack him. I didn't desire it to get out of hand like that. It was not a planned thing. But it's sort of compelling. I didn't chase him. I'll tell you that.
I just wanted to mention adamandeve.com. Everybody go to adamandevewebsite.com.
What's your code word?
Code word
Jason. If you put Jason into the thing, you'll get discounts.
Lalit, who is here, is a big fan of adamandeve.com.
You get 50% off, free shipping.
And don't forget to check out
I think
What the
if you
Fuck.
spend like $60.
Lalit, what are your
shipping.
favorite toys that are on Adam and Eve? Give your actual suggestions.
I love the Lilo vibrator. That's the Ina because that has the rabbit clip thingy on it.
The
And also-
rabbit clip
Isn't that the
thingy.
character
Yeah,
that
it's
could
like-
eat everything? Lilo in the
Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah, something
We're trying
like
to sell
that.
these
talking
products,
about vibrators,
Jason, not
Jason,
scare
focus.
people.
Yeah, I went to the Toys for Men thinking it was going to be all pocket pussies, but it's all like dildos you shove in your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many did you get, sweetheart?
he got the beads.
They're gonna name one after Jim because of his
Hemorrhoids?
the
hemorrhoid.
vibrating egg that goes in his ass.
The hemorrhoids and
right.
the thing. And
What did
Yeah.
Brian McCarthy say about the anal beads though?
he said that you can put them in the dishwasher.
Oh, those are dishwasher.
Yeah, dishwasher.
Oh,
Nice
thanks.
to know.
Now I can quit
I always
buying
like
new
to.
sets.
I always like to wash my plates with something with fecal matter.
Well, Jim, you can rinse them first. You don't have to put the shit in the fucking dishwasher.
No, I'm talking. I shit on my plates.
On that note, I think that was a great one. Thank you guys for listening. Go to our website, JimandEddieTalkShit.com. Thank you once again for Marc Maron. Listen to his podcast, What the Fuck.
I got to
also
play
on
some
iTunes.
gigs that are coming up. Chicago Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. Buy tickets for that. And also, I've just signed on to do the Nokia Theatre in November, and that's just gone on sale as well
And also,
in LA.
my show, I'll be at June 11th at the Hollywood Improv. I'm headlining June 11th.
Ooh, big
tickets on
gig.
sale now. Yeah.
Hollywood Improv, huh?
Jeez, we play the same clubs, don't we, Mark?
I don't play the Hollywood Improv.
Come
You
on,
don't?
it's been very nice. Let's finish the episode
I know,
now.
no, let's get it out.
Do you have any more?
WTFpod.com is the website. And congratulations on the improv gig. It's good that you're working in America.
Thank you very much, everyone.
I'm not
Good
gonna let him
night.
get
Good
the laugh.
night.
No,
Cut it off.